So now I'm going to pose the character in like the first pose, which I usually like to start with a stride. And I'll get rid of anything that's on the character here. So let me grab the all. And I'll start off from this pose. So I'll delete these guys. Delete. And then I'll build our first pose. So I'm going to build the stride pose. And I'll kind of talk as I go. So I'll put this one back here. Go up and hit. Is it X0? Rotate X, that's what I want. Drop this down, forward, get rid of all that stuff on the old toe. Okay. Since the legs are spread apart like that, the hips would be rotated, which will give you more range of motion on the hips. This cog's going to be down here some. Let's just say probably something like that, which means we have more room here. So we'll get that foot out. Let's get that pull vector pulled out here. I'm going to kind of give him a wide foot there, and I'm going to make sure that the foot is centered underneath him, like this, right? The foot is not, the feet aren't shoulder width apart, they're centered. And you'll see why I'm doing that a little bit later. Okay. So then the leg goes forward, which means the opposite will go, or the arm on the same side will do the opposite. They oppose each other. And now usually when I start, you build your first pose and then you start animating, and then things might change as you go. But you build a nice, strong pose. Okay. Again, here's your spine. So spines aren't straight, by the way. They're bent. Your spine is curved. So it's something a little along the lines of, depending on the walk you're doing. So I'll have kind of maybe a determined walk. So I'll take the upper two. It's like this. Then I rotate them this way. So they oppose. So his opposing shoulder is coming forward. And the opposing arm is coming forward too. So, and the hand always points to the direction of where it's coming from. So like, let's say your hand the arm's coming up here, right? Because it's swinging forward. So the hand will be kind of drooping down because of gravity. So we'll get that pull vector. And I don't like my pull vectors swimming way out in outer space. I like them close. It gives you more control. And your pull vectors you translate, you don't rotate them. So, and then we'll get those shoulders in play. Like I said earlier, you pose everything. So if the arm's going back here to give it more range of motion, the shoulder will be back here. And on the opposite side, this one will be forward as well. Rotate that there. That's good for now. If you think about the arm, when it's at its lowest point, which is like around here, through here, gravity's pulling it down as it swings through, right? So that means the shoulder's going to come down. So when it comes back here, the shoulder's going to come up. Same on the other side when it's coming forward. And the arms don't just work like, like this, like a seesaw, like that. They come back and around and forward and come forward and back. They loop. So you don't want to just have this generic kind of, on one plane, just staying linearly, just moving back and forth, which I will show in a little bit. So we have the neck and the head. And like I said, pose everything, so we'll give his eyes kind of a direction. Because the expression and his posture tells the audience immediately when you see it, when they see the character, what he's thinking, what he's feeling, what's his attitude. So I kind of figured a determined walk, so let's give him an expression actually. I'll change his expression. Give him more of a determined expression. So I'll zero out everything just to start from scratch with the mouth. So here I'm going to Zero that out. And then this guy, I'm going to rotate like that, maybe raise it up. And I'm going to bring those corner down. Actually, I'll just bring this corner down. It's just kind of a tight-lipped thing. So corner down. Actually, I'll bring the other one down a little bit too. Down, and then mouth turn. That jaw looks like it's rotated too much, so I'll straighten that out. Get rid of that actually. Give those eyebrows some determination here. So the inner one will go, kind of, I'll move them not so far in, but they're kind of furrowed. That brow is furrowed, gives them, intent. And this character, you can get a nice straight brow. Actually, I'm gonna zero that out and then do that. Put them all down. Straighten it out. Take the mid. I want something straight. And then take the whole thing down. There we go. And I kind of have a teardrop shape to the eyelids. I'm going to get rid of that and just go straight. Simple. Like that. There we go. So he's kind of squinting like, like, I mean business, right? Actually, I'm going to bring that brow in a little. And then down a little bit. There we go. So he looks like he means business, right? I could probably raise that mouth up a little bit too. There we go. Now he looks like means business. Okay, so we want that head level. I don't want it going side to side too much. Maybe later we will, but for now we want it level. Looking straight ahead. Okay, so now we have our first pose. Now his hands don't reflect his attitude. They look too limp, right? They look too relaxed. So he's determined, so we'll give him kind of what I like to call a relaxed fist. So we'll rotate these guys like that, this up here like that, and then we'll go in separately and animate or rotate these guys, curl them in. And you always want to kind of go with something that feels not even, like you don't want that generic flat hand where you just grab all of them, rotate them all at once, and then it just looks like the square hand. You see my palm here? The palm is rotated. It's bent, right? It's cupped, I should say. And I bend it to round it out because the hands aren't flat. The palm isn't flat, it's cupped. So when you do that, it just looks like a wooden hand. So you want to go in there and pose it correctly. Otherwise, it looks like some, like you just kind of, you just some half-baked attempt. You weren't thinking when you did it. Okay. Okay, and I'll bring that forefinger up just a smidgen, and then bring in the tip. Like that, and then we'll bring that thumb in. It's kind of a very nice, simple, but aesthetically appealing to look at hand pose. Tip out a little bit. See how I'm moving around really quick too? That's how you should be animating. You shouldn't be like on. I've seen a lot of people, they lock their camera, like they animate from their camera view, and they stay in that, and they don't you need to get in perspective and be moving around, always looking at your angles to see what it looks like from the front, from the side, from the top. Like you see when I'm posing the back, I go up here and I use the outer one because I know it's going to be flat. I don't just stay, using these individually. I'll go up here, boom, do that. So you should be moving quick. So let's move this up a little bit. Okay, and then, let's finish the thumb. So, it's spread. No, it's mid. Yep. I guess maybe it's twist. Yeah, that looks okay. I want it in more, so I want to bring that mid in like that, and then I want to bring the tip out. So it feels like it's kind of resting inside like the finger it's resting in that little gap. So we'll take the base down a little bit, and we'll bring that middle finger just enough out so it tapers, and then we'll bring in that one. Those there. It feels like a natural hand position. Thumb looks a little tweaked, but it's alright for now. So I'll take that, copy it, and then paste it on the other hand. Boom. So now they match. Now I usually don't want things to be exactly the same, but since it's a walk, his hands are going to be pretty much doing the same thing. Okay, so let's finish up his initial pose here. Something like that, and then I'm giving him a long stride, but you really don't want him to have short steps, because then it feels like he's got this short coupled walk. It doesn't feel natural. But especially being determined, you want a nice full stride. So I'll build those feet up. So is it okay, like that. And now since I roll the heel up, you have more range of motion. So that means the foot can go even further out. Like that. And this foot, when it's this far back, is probably going to be on the ball, which means the foot will be something like that. Let's see, I think maybe he'd be a little bit more forward. One thing too, you don't animate Z when you're doing a walk cycle. In the cog, you keep it. So let's actually raise him up. Something like that. Okay. That might not be perfect, but I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so now we have his first initial pose. So I will stop it here and go to the next one.